you wondering what INFJ means? Maybe you're just getting into MBTI, INFJ, or actually you're coming from a dating site and you saw this cute guy or girl who said they were an INFJ. We as INFJs like to analyze people really deeply, but for this video, since you're just getting started with it, we're gonna keep it easy and simple. Let's start with the basics. INFJ is one of the 16 personality types of the Myers-Briggs type indicator. You have 4 functions in a particular stack, and each function can have 2 dimensions. INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging. So let's start with the first one, introvert. Introvert versus extrovert, meaning where do you get your energy from? From rather time by yourself or with other people or outside and getting external energy. For starters, we have the example of Rihanna as an introvert and Tiana Taylor as an extrovert. If you don't know what I mean, just watch an interview and you will see how both of them react differently in interviews. The one is rather reserved and the other one is all over the place. A male example would be Jay-Z, introvert versus Kanye West, extrovert. Do I need to say more? The next one is intuition versus sensing. See, some sensors get upset over this because it suggests that sensors don't have any intuition, which is not the case at all. Sensors rather pick up everything they experience through their senses. Intuitives, on the other hand, rather live through images and they build up systems in their head with not that much external confirmation for their systems. An example for this for women is Emma Stone as an intuitive and Scarlett Johansson as a sensor. For men, Matt Damon as an intuitive and Channing Tatum as a sensor. They're both cute though. Now let's get to the third function, feeling versus thinking. That doesn't mean that feelers don't think and thinkers don't feel. It's just that one is more dominant and more obvious. As an example, let's take a look into female tennis. You have Maria Sharapova, who definitely is a thinker. If you watch interviews, you can see that there's definitely a thinking vibe that comes off her. She's rather analytical and stays on the topic. On the other hand, you have Serena Williams. She's also a sensor, just like Maria Sharapova, but for her you can tell that she's a feeler. You can see in interviews, she's much more emotionally driven, and if you check out her Instagram page, you will see the same thing. So let's get to the fourth function, judging versus perceiving. Judges tend to want to control their environment, meaning they create environments in a focused way. When they talk to people, they really want that person to understand who they're talking to and what their energy is all about. And perceivers, on the other hand, are much more open. Oprah is a judger. Ellen, on the other hand, is a perceiver. If you watch interviews with them, you'll see that Oprah is projecting most of her convictions on the outside. She wants people to understand what she's about, what her opinion is, and Ellen, on the other hand, is much more accepting. So that's why you have so many diverse guests on her show. Let's narrow this down. So we have an introverted intuitive versus an introverted sensor. A good example for this is Tina Fey, introverted intuitive, versus Kim Kardashian, introverted sensor. Don't get it messed up. Just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you can't be a celebrity that's in everybody's face. Rihanna, Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, as well as Kylie Jenner are all introverts. Let's go even deeper. So we have introverted intuitive feelers versus introverted intuitive thinkers. A good example for this is John Mayer as an introverted intuitive feeler versus Jesse Eisenberg, who's an introverted intuitive thinker. So let's get to the last letter, INFJ versus INFP. A good example for male INFJs versus INFP are Edward Norton versus Johnny Depp. For women, it's Carey Mulligan from The Great Gatsby as an INFJ and Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine as an INFP. So now let me give you my favorite example of an INFJ man and an INFJ woman, which I feel represent most what we're about. For men, I nominate Al Pacino. How much of a badass you have to be in order to play Scarface and The Godfather. But if you really want to see a performance that demonstrates the INFJ in him, watch Ascent of a Woman. Take a look.
I mean, the only class in this act is sitting next to me, and I'm here to tell you, this boy's soul is intact. It's non-negotiable. But there is nothing like the sight of an amputated spirit. There is no prosthetic for that. You think you're merely sending this splendid foot soldier back home to Argonne with his tail between his legs, but I say you are executing his soul!
And my favorite portrait of an INFJ woman, and this one is rather controversial, but I'm still sticking to it. Emily Clark, aka Khaleesi.
Il va trage asparage, finito magie.
Zaldrizes buzdaris daur. Miguel Daenerys Gel Masmo and Targaryen Lentrot, and Valeria Wipoanagarixan. Valeria Munuengos Nuyis Isa. As Urnay Luay Brija Das! Dracarys.
A lot of people think she can't be an INFJ because INFJs tend to be complacent, that they rather wait for other people to do what they don't feel like doing, they just contemplate about. But that's just if you're not developed. When INFJs are developed and they have a conviction, there's nothing stopping us. We can be relentless. See, in the end, we're passionate warriors. And in the last years, this community has worked on and helped each other to bring those attributes forward so we can really make an impact on our life, on the life of our family, friends, and on the entire world. If you're an INFJ and or are interested in personal development, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification. I post videos each week on related topics. And if you're coming from a dating app, make sure to give that cute INFJ girl or boy a swipe right. Talk to you next time. Bye.